Hey folks, today we're talking about essential items to keep in your car while driving. Let's roll. I always say the road's unpredictable. We can't prepare for everything, or we'd need a trailer full of stuff. But with the items I'll mention today, you'll be ready for most situations. When road troubles hit, you'll be prepared and able to handle them on the spot. This list is my suggestion, but I'll explain why each item is useful. You can customize this list based on your driving habits, needs, and where and how much you drive. Now let's talk about the essential items that, in my opinion, every driver should have in their car. I'll explain why. First on the list is what we call an NZ, or emergency fund. Why is this important? Well, with money, you can buy anything or pay for any service. If you break down, you can pay for a tow truck. If you're in the city and need a part, you can easily get it. Pay for repairs, so when trouble hits, you might be out of cash. Your card could be blocked or lost. That's why we drivers should always keep some money in the car. I don't suggest leaving a large sum, but from my view, about 5 to 10 grand spread out in different spots, not just one place. Maybe in the glove box, and I suggest hiding things in various spots, just in case. Most importantly, don't forget where you've put them. In your car, you should have essentials. You never know. Breakdowns happen. You might end up in some village. You'll always be able to buy food and medicine if needed, so I'd prioritize a financial stash first. Second, I'd ensure communication. You must have a way to contact someone, call for help, or report incidents if anything happens. When it comes to city life, things seem fine. Shops everywhere, everyone's got unlimited phone plans. But if you're heading out of town where signal's weak, you gotta think ahead. Your phone might die or charger break. So I always suggest carrying a backup phone like this old one. This keeps charged for 3 weeks, has a handy flashlight and a spare SIM with just 1 ruble balance. It's always with me, plus its charger. If my main phone dies, runs out of cash, or gets water damaged, I've got this backup. It lasts nearly a month. For internet, I carry this small portable router. It costs around 2-3 rubles. If you're traveling, take a local SIM card. Insert it into this device to share Wi-Fi with up to 15 devices. Even without cell service, you'll have internet for WhatsApp, Viber, and Telegram. It's super handy. Another option is a walkie-talkie. If you often go out of town for hunting, fishing, or expeditions, you should definitely have a radio too. Friends, about communication. If you have a modern car, it should have a GPS system. There's an SOS button you can press to contact dispatch. Don't abuse it, but if you witness an accident while you're out in the sticks, you can call and report it. You might save a life. Moving on, third on my list would be a small food and water supply. At least a day's worth, like a dry ration or non-perishable car snacks. Think nuts, chocolate, or trail mix. And don't forget a 5-liter water jug. Even if it freezes in winter, you can always melt it over a fire. Eat, drink, and load up on carbs. You can buy a pro meal kit, as shown on screen, or make your own box with quick energy snacks and canned goods. Moving on, let's talk about breakdowns. You never know what might suddenly happen to your car, especially when the ECU starts glitching. Error messages pop up. The check engine light comes on. What do you do then? You're out of town and can't even reset the error. You need to get back to the city, to a repair shop. Friends, I strongly recommend having this device in every car. What is it? It's an auto scanner. You can perform a complete diagnostic check on your own. Without taking your car to a shop, you can check it before buying or before a long trip. I think every car should have one. It's super easy to use. Now let's move on to the fifth point, the Essential Motorist's Kit. For many, this kit's just a small box with a fire extinguisher and warning triangle. I'll now list more items and explain why they're necessary. So, for a standard car kit, you should have a fire extinguisher, pay attention, make sure it's charged, bring a warning triangle because you never know what might happen suddenly, a reflective vest, a tow rope, and I'd also include 2 pairs of gloves. That's a standard kit, but in addition to all this, I personally buy a bigger bag, pack lots of different items in there. If you're just driving around the city, you won't need half of what I've listed, but if you occasionally head out of town, gather everything I'll mention. It may seem like an unreal amount, but if you organize it well, it all fits into a small box. Just stash it in a corner of the trunk and let it be. You buy all this stuff once. If you suddenly sell your car or switch your car, you take this box and move it to your new vehicle, and you already have everything. All right, let's continue. You need something to start a fire. I've mentioned dry rations. For winter, warm clothes, duct tape, reinforced is better. Why? God forbid your window breaks in winter. How to drive? You can always tape it up to reach a repair shop. It won't hurt to have. What if you get a flat tire? You should have a manual foot pump or a compressor that plugs into the cigarette lighter. Things like a jack and lug wrench to change a tire and lift your car. I don't think I need to say much more. These should be in every car. Moving on, what if you get a flat tire? With no service stations around, you need a tire repair kit. Next, I strongly recommend carrying essential fluids. You might need to top up brake fluid or coolant. Check your antifreeze color. If it's yellow, bring yellow. If green, bring green. A liter's enough. Don't forget engine oil too. A liter's enough. If you run low, you can top up and keep going. In winter, you'll need de-icers and antifreeze. If your battery dies, how can we fix it? Jumper cables are essential. Buy good ones, 300, 400 amp. Don't cheap out. I'd also add silicone grease to your toolkit. You never know when you'll need to lubricate something. Doors might stick or a bolt might not budge on the road. A flashlight is a must-have. You might need light at night or in dark situations. Here's a small but crucial point. Always keep spare batteries for your car key fob or alarm remote. It might use a CR 2032 battery. Check and carry spares. Keep them in your wallet or purse if you're a woman. Put them in your handbag too. You always had one battery in your bag and another in the glove box. They tend to die at the worst times. They can last 2, 3, or 4 years, but I'll say it again, folks, it's a cheap item, but running out of battery can be so frustrating you'll want to scream. Moving on, I always keep 2 more things within reach. A knife. You never know when you'll need to cut something, slice food, or even cut a seatbelt in an accident if someone's trapped. A knife's just a tool, not for self-defense, you know. But you should keep it under your left hand. For self-defense, consider this. I have a pepper spray. You never know when some idiots or thugs might show up. Anything can happen. Same thing, God willing, I haven't used it yet. Still, you should have it in your car. It's your friend, but you need to know how to use it. So, look online for various topics on how to use these sprays correctly, what types exist, which one to buy. Make sure it has a safety catch so you don't accidentally set it off. This thing is very useful, especially for women friends. Well, probably a set of precautions. Changing it is simple. How to do it? You can find a 30-second video online showing that where your car's fuse box is, which fuse does what, and how to replace them. It's all pretty simple. For long trips, bring a 510L fuel can. For city driving, it's not necessary. Other essentials, a shovel, brushes, and snow chains. Wheel chocks and such are seasonal for winter. You might be surprised how much stuff this is, but it all fits in a small box if packed well. You'll be ready for almost anything. Oh, I forgot the first aid kit. It should be tailored to your health needs. A standard first aid kit isn't much. It's mostly bandages. If you have allergies, include your meds. Check expiration dates regularly. Don't keep 10-year-old meds. Customize your kit for your health needs. One more thing, folks. When I mentioned polyethylene film with tape, it's best to use reinforced tape. It's stronger. You can also use stretch wrap instead. It's great for covering stuff outdoors or sealing windows. It's super strong. People even use layers of it to tow cars. It's cheap, compact, and handy. Now let's talk about the bare minimum toolkit. You don't need a full pro toolbox, but some basics are key. A few screwdrivers, pliers, hammer, and socket set can be handy. Even if you're not handy or you're a delicate lady, it's good to have these. You might need help and flag down a guy who's willing, but he might not have tools. He could say, "Sure, I'll help, but I need a 10 mm wrench to remove the battery, so having that matters. Yeah, I went because I don't have tools with me. If you don't have the right key, how can I help? No way. So you need to carry a small toolkit. To finish this list, I'd say a dash cam. Some might say it's not necessary. I've driven without one my whole life. Maybe, but there are times when a dash cam saves you. It can prove you're right in tricky situations. People use dash cams for hobbies or on vacation too. You get to see beautiful scenery. In my opinion, every car should have a dash cam. So friends, that's the rundown. Let me say this again. You can tailor this to your needs. You might not agree with me, and that's okay. I've shared this list based on my own experiences. I learned from my mistakes, and since I run this blog that you're watching, you guys can learn from my slip-ups too. I'd ask you to comment on what else you carry in your glove box and trunk and why. Maybe there's something important I don't know about. For new drivers, share your thoughts on if I have enough space for all this. Friends, take a look at this photo and short clip. I'm showing how much space you need to carry all this. A small hatchback is enough, but you'll be ready for almost anything. Well, that's all for today. This video is crucial, so please share it and give it a like so others can see it. You might even save a life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As always, I wish you all safe travels. Bye bye everyone.